Ladies and gentlemen, it is a profound honor to stand before you today discussing a matter that touches the hearts of many and challenges the spirits of those who have experienced deep hurt and betrayal. We live in a world where people are quick to hurt, abandon, and misuse others. Among the many who have wronged us, there is often one who rises above the rest, the narcissist. These individuals seem to operate under the illusion that the world revolves around them, their needs, and their desires. They are masters of manipulation and have no qualms about exploiting those who love them. For those who have been victims of such emotional and psychological exploitation, the question often arises, how do I seek justice? How do I ensure that those who have hurt me will face consequences for their actions? I am here to remind you that God, in His wisdom and infinite power, has His own ways of delivering justice. This is not a justice born of vengeance, but one that is righteous, just, and pure. Today, I will share with you 7 ways that God acts to take revenge on the narcissist who has hurt you. God exposes the hidden nature of the narcissist. One of the first ways in which God takes revenge on the narcissist who has hurt you is by exposing their true nature to the world. The narcissist is a master of deception. They present a facade of charm, charisma, and appeal to those around them, hiding their selfishness, manipulative tendencies, and lack of empathy. But God, in His wisdom, allows the truth to come to light. This exposure is not for the sake of harming or embarrassing the narcissist, but for the sake of the truth. When the narcissist's true character is revealed, those who have been deceived by them will begin to see them for what they truly are. People will start to question the integrity of their actions and words. Their web of lies will begin to unravel. God's justice often comes in the form of clarity, a clarity that cannot be ignored. In this moment of exposure, the narcissist's power begins to erode. They can no longer manipulate or control others with their false narratives. Relationships that once seemed strong will begin to fracture. Their friends, colleagues, and even family members will begin to question their motives. And although it may feel like a moment of public shame for the narcissist, it is in fact God's way of putting everything into proper alignment. For the narcissist, their deceptions may have carried them for a time, but God's hand will ensure that the truth will always come to light. And in the end, they will be exposed for who they truly are. It is in this exposure that the narcissist's own pride is humbled. The very thing that has made them believe they are above reproach is brought low. They begin to experience the consequences of their actions, not at the hands of others, but by the will of God. What they once thought they could control is now spiraling out of their grasp. It is a painful process, but one that is necessary for true justice to prevail. God will ensure that no one, especially the narcissist, can escape the repercussions of their wrongdoing. In this exposure, the narcissist's pride and sense of superiority are dismantled by the Almighty Himself. For those of you who have suffered at the hands of a narcissist, it is important to trust in this divine process. You may never have the satisfaction of confronting the person who hurt you, but rest assured that God is working behind the scenes, exposing their darkness to the light. The narcissist will not be able to hide forever. It is the inevitable law of the universe, and when it happens, it is God's judgment unfolding before your eyes. God causes the narcissist to face the consequences of their actions, Another way in which God acts to take revenge on the narcissist is by ensuring that they face the consequences of their own actions. The narcissist, in their arrogance, believes they are untouchable. They believe they can manipulate, hurt, and destroy others without experiencing any negative outcomes. However, God's justice ensures that this illusion will not last forever. God allows the narcissist to walk in the consequences of their choices. The narcissist may seem to thrive for a time, basking in the false sense of victory that comes from controlling and manipulating others. They may climb the ladder of success, building relationships based on deceit and false pretenses. But the Lord's hand is upon them, and He will allow their actions to catch up with them. In the same way that a person who plants seeds of destruction will eventually reap a harvest of destruction, the narcissist will see their own choices come back to them. Their once glorious reputation will begin to crumble. Relationships that they have exploited will turn sour. They will find themselves isolated, rejected by the very people they once manipulated. Their plans will fail, their schemes will backfire, and their lies will eventually fall apart. And in this moment, God's justice will have been served not by force, but by the natural course of their actions. They will come to realize that they cannot escape the consequences of their behavior. The narcissist may try to maintain control, but the more they struggle to keep their facade intact, the more they will find that it is slipping away. The weight of their own misdeeds will become too much to bear. What once seemed like a game they could win has now become a burden they cannot escape. God does not need to strike down the narcissist with vengeance. His justice is often far more powerful when it comes through natural law, the law of cause and effect. The narcissist will experience their own downfall, and it will be a direct result of their own actions. This is a reminder to those of you who have been hurt by the narcissist. Trust that God will allow them to face the consequences of their actions. Even when you feel powerless, God's justice is at work. You may not see it right away, but in due time, the narcissist will be held accountable. They will face the weight of their choices. And this is the Lord's way of ensuring that justice is done. God humbles the narcissist. God's justice also takes shape in the way He humbles the narcissist. The narcissist's greatest weapon is their pride. They live in a world where they believe they are superior to others, where their needs are always more important, and where the feelings and desires of others are secondary to their own. But God, in His wisdom, knows how to break down this false sense of superiority. He knows how to humble the arrogant, bringing them to a place where they must face their own limitations. In the life of a narcissist, God may bring about a situation that shakes their foundation. This could come in the form of personal loss, a failure they cannot deny, or a situation that exposes their helplessness. In this moment, the narcissist will be forced to confront the truth that they are not as powerful as they once believed. Their pride, which once carried them above the rest, will no longer provide them the protection they once enjoyed. This humbling process is not only a form of justice for the narcissist, but a form of healing for those they have hurt. It allows the victim to see that the narcissist, despite their posturing, is not invincible. They are not untouchable. They too are vulnerable to the forces of the universe. The very thing that the narcissist has used to oppress others, their pride, will be the thing that brings them to their knees before the Lord. In this humbling, the narcissist may attempt to resist or deny their downfall. They may try to blame others or make excuses for their actions. But God's hand is firm, and His process of humbling cannot be avoided. It is only when the narcissist is brought low that they can begin to see the world as it truly is, and they may even be given the opportunity for repentance. For the victim, this is a powerful reminder that no one can stand against the will of God. Even the proud and the powerful must bow to the Almighty. As you watch the narcissist experience their humbling, remember that this is God's doing. It is a part of the divine justice that brings balance to the universe. What they have done to others will now be done to them, not because of your anger or resentment, but because of the divine laws that govern this world. And in this humbling, God shows that He is truly the one in control. God isolates the narcissist from their sources of power. In their pursuit of control, the narcissist surrounds themselves with people and situations that serve their needs. They form alliances, manipulate others, and create a network that supports their inflated sense of self-worth. But God, in His infinite wisdom, knows how to isolate the narcissist from their sources of power. He knows how to disrupt the networks they've built, causing them to lose the support they so desperately rely on. Through divine intervention, relationships that once served the narcissist will begin to falter. Allies will turn away, friends will become distant. Those who once worshipped them will begin to see through the illusion and distance themselves. In the quiet of their isolation, the narcissist will come to realize that they no longer have the same level of influence or control over others. The very system they built to support their inflated ego will begin to collapse. This isolation serves a dual purpose. Not only does it act as a form of punishment for the narcissist, but it also gives the victim space to heal. When the narcissist no longer has the people or situations to manipulate, their power over others is diminished. The narcissist's self-constructed empire begins to crumble, and they are left to face the reality of their own existence. God uses isolation as a powerful tool of justice. In the absence of validation from others, the narcissist will be forced to confront their true self, the self that they have long denied. Without an audience to feed their ego, they will experience a loneliness that is deeper than anything they have ever encountered. This is not just a moment of despair. It is a moment of reckoning. For the narcissist, this loss of power can feel like the ultimate downfall. They will scramble to regain control, but the harder they try, the more isolated they will become. People will begin to see through their manipulations and refuse to be used any longer. Their carefully curated world will disintegrate before their eyes. And in this moment, they will realize that they are not as invincible as they once believed. This is why you must trust God's process. If you have been hurt by a narcissist, know that their power is temporary. No matter how strong they seem, no matter how deeply they have wounded you, God has the ability to remove their influence. He will break their stronghold, not by force, but by the simple act of turning people's hearts away from them. When their support system is gone, so too is their ability to control and manipulate. And in that, justice is served. God strips the narcissist of their false success. The narcissist thrives on an illusion of success. They often build their image on achievements, wealth, power, or influence. To the outside world, they seem untouchable, always winning, always advancing, always appearing to be in control. But what the world does not see is that much of their success is built on manipulation, deceit, and exploitation. They step on others to climb higher. They take credit for work they did not do, and they exploit relationships to gain an advantage. But God, in His divine justice, has a way of stripping away this false success. There comes a time when God allows everything they built through manipulation to crumble. The job they secured through deception will slip away. The money they amassed through dishonesty will be lost. The status they obtained by oppressing others will be taken from them. They will begin to experience losses that they cannot explain, failures that they cannot escape. Doors that once opened effortlessly for them will suddenly be shut. People who once admired them will begin to distance themselves. No matter how hard they try to maintain their image, the facade will begin to break apart. This process of being stripped down is not a coincidence. It is the hand of God at work. He is removing the things they use to validate themselves. He is ensuring that they can no longer hide behind material success. And the deeper their pride, the more devastating their fall will be. They will feel the weight of losing what they once thought defined them. But this is not just about punishment. It is also about revelation. When the narcissist has nothing left to cling to, they are forced to see who they truly are. They can no longer mask their brokenness with external achievements. As this happens, the narcissist will try to fight back. They will try to manipulate their way back to the top. They will seek out new victims to use, new opportunities to exploit. But because God is in control, every attempt will be blocked. They will find themselves wandering in confusion, wondering why things are not working as they once did. Their usual tactics will no longer be effective. They will feel powerless, unable to regain what they lost, and in this, they will realize that the success they once had was never truly theirs. It was only allowed for a season. For those who have suffered at the hands of a narcissist, this is a powerful reminder that what is gained through deception cannot last. The narcissist may appear to be winning for a time, but their foundation is weak. When God moves, He will shake the very ground they stand on. What they built on lies will not stand. And when their false success is taken from them, justice will be served. God turns the narcissist's schemes against them. One of the most powerful ways God acts against the narcissist is by allowing their own schemes to backfire. The narcissist operates by manipulating and deceiving others. They set traps, they create chaos, they twist the truth to suit their own agenda. But the Bible tells us that whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them. Proverbs 26:27. In His perfect timing, God ensures that the very things the narcissist planned to use against others will be the things that destroy them. The narcissist spends their life setting traps for others, using people, lying and playing games to get ahead. But God, in His justice, knows how to turn these things around. The lies they spread about others will come back to haunt them. The people they betrayed will rise against them. The opportunities they stole will be taken from them. They will find themselves in the same pain they inflicted on others. And when this happens, they will realize that they are not in control. God is. This is not just a punishment, it is a lesson. The narcissist believes they are untouchable. They believe they can manipulate the system indefinitely. But when their own traps catch them, they will be forced to see the truth. They will experience the humiliation of being caught in their own lies. They will feel the sting of betrayal as those they manipulated turn away from them. And no matter how much they try to escape, they will find themselves ensnared by the very things they created. For those who have suffered, this is a moment of divine justice. You may have felt powerless against a narcissist's manipulation, but God was always watching. He was allowing them to dig their own grave, to weave a web so tangled that they themselves could not escape. And when the time is right, He will allow their downfall to unfold before your eyes. When you see this happen, do not gloat. Do not rejoice in their suffering. Instead, take comfort in knowing that God is faithful. He does not allow the wicked to prosper forever. He ensures that justice is served in ways that are beyond human comprehension. The narcissist will fall, not by your hands, but by their own. And in that, God's justice will be complete. God grants peace and restoration to the narcissist victims. The final and perhaps most powerful way God acts against a narcissist is by healing and restoring those they have hurt. While the narcissist is dealing with the consequences of their actions, God is working in the lives of the victims, bringing them peace, strength, and renewal. The narcissist's goal was to destroy, to break spirits, and to leave their victims wounded. But God is a healer, and He will not allow His children to remain in pain. One of the first signs of this restoration is the lifting of the emotional and spiritual weight that the narcissist placed on their victims. The pain, the confusion, the self-doubt, all of it begins to fade as God pours His love and truth into the hearts of those who were wounded. He restores confidence. He renews hope. And He brings clarity where there was once deception. As the narcissist world falls apart, the victims begin to rise. Opportunities open up, new relationships form, and joy returns. The very things the narcissist tried to take, peace, purpose, and self-worth, are given back in greater measure. What was meant for harm, God turns for good. The victim moves forward, no longer bound by the past, no longer haunted by the wounds inflicted by the narcissist. This is the ultimate revenge. Not by seeking harm, but by thriving in spite of the pain. God ensures that the narcissist sees this transformation. They will watch as the people they once tried to destroy walk in blessings, love, and abundance. And this, more than anything, will remind them that they have no power over those whom God has redeemed. When God restores, He does not simply return things to the way they were. He makes them even better. The scars become testimonies. The suffering becomes strength. And the past becomes a stepping stone to something greater. And while the narcissist fades into the background, dealing with the consequences of their choices, those they hurt will walk forward into a future filled with God's grace. So, my dear brothers and sisters, if you have suffered at the hands of a narcissist, take heart. God's justice is sure. He sees your pain, He hears your cries, and He is working on your behalf. You do not need to seek revenge because He is already handling it. He will expose, humble, and bring down the narcissist, and more importantly, He will lift you up, heal you, and restore all that was lost. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today with this message. God's justice is real. You do not need to fight. You do not need to seek revenge. And you do not need to carry the burden of trying to make things right. The God who created the heavens and the earth is the same God who sees every injustice, every tear, and every wound inflicted upon you. And He will act. The narcissist who hurt you may seem untouchable, but they are not beyond the reach of God. He will expose them, humble them, strip them of their false success, and ensure they face the consequences of their actions. But even more importantly, He will restore you. He will take what was meant for your destruction and use it to bless you beyond what you can imagine. So walk in faith, knowing that you are not alone, trusting God's timing, for He is never late. And when His justice unfolds, it will be undeniable. You will see that the battle was never yours to fight. It was always in the hands of the Almighty. And in that, my friends, there is peace. God bless you.